Hello children, welcome to the virtual session. So we are going to continue with the chapter uh, chemical reactions and equations. So there are some general instructions to be followed for the notebook. Kindly do not copy everything from the video as notes. Writing work in the notebook will be clearly specified during the video session. You have to draw 2 centimeter margin on right hand side of every page of the notebook. You can do it in pencil. Topics to be entered in the index with date of the first session of the chapter. Diagrams to be neatly drawn in pencil with labeling in black pen. So these are the few instructions you have to follow for the notebook children. So let us continue with the chapter chemical reactions and equations. So the chapter part left was rancidity. So rancidity subtopic included in this chapter because it's again an oxidation of oil or fat in the food. So we were learning about types of reaction. We did oxidation reduction reaction in a previous session, and we have seen corrosion again is an oxidation of metals. So in the recap of corrosion, metals do corrode and then they lose luster, and the other properties also changes like uh, iron rust, and it is an oxidation of iron. Due to rusting we lose you have a huge monetary loss, because all the time that iron get rusted due to the attack of moisture and water and oxygen in the air. So that all oxidation of metals we have done in a previous session. So just a quick recap of that process. Now over here rancidity we are learning, since it's an oxidation of oil or fat in the food. So let us see, have you observed a foul smell in nuts that have been stored for months, or potato chips that have been sitting in the kitchen cupboard for too long? When such foul odor emanates from food, it is said to be rancid. In simple terms, rancidity is the spoilage of food such that it becomes unsuitable and undesirable for consumption. So, it is the oxidation of oil or fat in the food. That's why the food turns rancid, and it gives out undesirable smell and taste. So, it is not fit for consumption. You have to take this definition in the notebook. Now food turns rancid when the fats and oils within them get oxidized and the taste and the smell of the food changes. Oxidation of fats generates highly reactive molecules in the rancid food, which is responsible for the unpleasant odor and flavor. These chemical reactions also reduce the nutrition of the food. Some studies show that rancid food can have harmful health effect if consumed. So it can lead to a harmful effect, stomach indigestion problem and all will happen if you have the rancid food, because the rancid food is not fit for consumption, and because the taste also changes, so it will do have a health effect if you consume it. Rancidity can be prevented using following methods. So these are the following methods which we can use to prevent rancidity. Adding antioxidants, that is a substance which prevent oxidation to food. Storing in airtight containers to slow down the process of rancidification. So there are food preservative you get and antioxidant we get. You have many methods to prevent rancidity. Refrigerating food also helps to slow down rancidification. Replacing oxygen in the container with another gas, for example, to prevent chips from turning rancid. Chips manufacturers flush bags with nitrogen gas. So nitrogen is an inert gas. It will not react with the oil or fat in the food. Every food have some amount of oil or fats. So if we flush nitrogen inside the chips packets, what happen? It will replace oxygen. So it will replace oxygen. Chips and what all we need to pack will not turn rancid due to oxidation, because nitrogen will not react. It is an inert gas. Textual exercise we will see now children. You need to understand the textual exercise and try to understand the concept here. Why should a magnesium ribbon be cleaned before it is burned in air? So why it should be clean? Magnesium is an extremely reactive metal. When stored, it reacts with oxygen to form a layer of magnesium oxide on its surface. This layer of magnesium oxide is quite stable and prevents further reaction of magnesium with oxygen. The magnesium ribbon is cleaned by sandpaper for removing this layer so that the underlying metal can be exposed to air. Since magnesium is highly reactive, it will react with oxygen and form a magnesium oxide. So therefore, uh, uh, the magnesium oxide layer is quite stable and it will not react. So therefore, it has to be cleaned before you use it for any reaction. Write the balance equation for the following chemical reaction. So you have to write the balance chemical equation. These are the word equation. You have to convert into the symbolic form. So hydrogen plus chlorine gives you hydrogen chloride. Barium chloride plus aluminium sulfate gives you barium sulfate. Aluminium chloride um, plus barium sulfate plus aluminium chloride. Third one, sodium plus water gives you sodium hydroxide plus hydrogen. So this is the reaction you have to write in your notebook. You please take it down in your notebook, children, with the balancing. So now over here, in this balancing, you have to balance the sulfate radical. Please check for the balancing. So for the balancing for hydrogen plus chlorine and hydrogen chloride formation, you can try on your own. Sodium plus water give you sodium hydroxide plus hydrogen. You have done it earlier in your assignments. So please do that reactions on your own. Barium chloride plus aluminum sulfate gives barium sulfate plus aluminum chloride. So this balancing is shown to you as an example. You try the remaining two. Now write balance chemical equation which states symbols for the following reaction. Now you have to show which state solid, liquid, gaseous state in the reaction. So solution of barium chloride and sodium sulfate in water react to give insoluble barium sulfate and the solution of sodium chloride. And next one, sodium hydroxide solution in water reacts with hydrochloric acid in water to produce sodium chloride solution in water. So here you have to try that uh, in your book. That question you have to write and then you have to solve that. Now over here question 4, a solution of substance X is used for whitewashing. Name the substance X and write its formula. Write the reaction of the substance X, name in one above with the water. So the substance X is calcium oxide and its chemical formula is calcium oxide. So CaO. And calcium, second one, calcium oxide reacts vigorously with water to form calcium hydroxide, that is slake lime. So you have the answer for this. The answers which are not there you can try on your own. Few we will discuss over here, few you have to try. So here you can have this formula, this reaction in symbolic form with the state. So calcium oxide in solid state reacting with water in the liquid state, and calcium hydroxide in the aqueous state. So that means calcium hydroxide dissolved in water is an aqueous state. H2O in the liquid state because it is a universal solvent itself. So you always write L. And calcium hydroxide in the aqueous state because calcium hydroxide is dissolved in water. So there is a formation of calcium hydroxide when you react quicklime, that is CaO plus H2O gives you CaOH twice. You have to take this down, extremely important. Now next, why is the amount of gas collected in one of the test tube in activity 1.7 double of the amount collected in the other? Name this gas. So few questions we have solved here, few we have discussed, few of them which are not solved here in the discussion in this session. You can try on your own. Water H2O contain two parts of hydrogen and one part of oxygen. You all agree to this. Therefore, the amount of hydrogen and oxygen produced during electrolysis of water is in a ratio of 2:1. During electrolysis, since hydrogen goes to one test tube and oxygen goes to another, the amount of gas collected in one of the test tube is double of the amount collected in the other. So, since the ratio during electrolysis, what happened? What is produced? hydrogen and oxygen is produced. In what ratio? 2 is to 2. So since hydrogen goes to one test tube and oxygen goes to another, the amount collected in one of the test tube is double the amount of the other, and this is how it indicates the ratio is 2 is to 2, 2 is to 1, and hydrogen formula is H2O. So next one, why does the color of the copper sulfate solution change when an iron nail is dipped in it? So this is a very simple question over here. You know reactivity series, you can always relate to the reactivity series whenever there is a color change or some reaction happen. So why that reaction happen? Because the metal is more reactive. One metal is more reactive which can displace the other metal from its solution. So copper sulfate solution is blue in color, iron nail is deep in it, and blue color fades and green color appears. You have to remember the colors here. This happens because iron is more reactive than copper. You all agree to this because reactivity series says iron is more reactive than copper. So iron will displace his copper from copper sulfate solution to form a new product, namely iron 2 sulfate, that means oxidation state 2 of iron, which is green in color, and copper metal, that will be a residue. So the reaction given below, Fe plus CuSO4 gives you FeSO4 plus Cu. You have to write down in your notebook with the reaction. Give an example of double displacement reaction other than the given in activity 1.1, barium chloride and sodium sulfate. So this is your NCERT exercise. So they are relating it to NCERT textbook. So you can see the activity 1.1. Over here give an example of double displacement reaction. So you can give an example over here. Silver nitrate plus sodium chloride gives you silver chloride plus sodium nitrate. So this is a double displacement reaction. You can see the exchange of the atoms and the group of atoms. So sodium chloride and silver nitrate are both solids that are highly soluble in water. They give a double displacement reaction where the ion switches places and gives sodium nitrate and white precipitate of sodium chloride as the product. So what happens? These are ionic compounds, silver nitrate and sodium chloride. So when you are reacting them, when you are adding them, they are going to give or dissociate into ions. Silver nitrate will dissociate into silver plus nitrate ions. Sodium chloride will dissociate into sodium and chlorine ions. So now chloride ions. So sodium and chloride ions, they all get separated and there will be exchange of the ions. So over here silver will get sodium silver nitrate, there will be formation of silver chloride because nitrate will be displaced by chloride ion. Similarly here there's a formation of sodium nitrate, so because of the exchange of ions you can relate to it as an ionic compound, and when they dissociate they will show double displacement reaction according to the reactivity. So now over here identify the substances that are oxidized and the substances that are reduced in the following reaction. You need to identify, first you need to relate to the definition of oxidation, reduction, oxidizing agent, reducing agent, which we have done in a previous session. So now sodium plus oxygen gives you sodium oxide, Na2O. Now over here sodium is gaining oxygen and therefore it is getting oxidized to sodium oxide, while oxygen loses oxygen and get reduced to sodium oxide. That means it is losing itself, it is getting combined to sodium, that's why it is getting reduced. In terms of electronic theory also, if you see, sodium will have lose electron, it will get oxidized, and oxygen will accept electron and it will get reduced. So if this concept, if in terms of oxygen is not clear, you can easily relate to the electron theory and you can see that sodium is getting oxidized and oxygen is getting reduced over here. Copper plus H2 gives you copper plus H2. Now over here copper oxide losing oxygen and therefore it is getting reduced to copper metal, while hydrogen gain oxygen and get oxidized to water. So over here copper oxide is losing oxygen, therefore it is getting reduced, and therefore copper oxide will be what? Oxidizing or reducing agent? It will be a oxidizing agent because it has oxygen with it, it can give that oxygen, therefore it is an oxidizing agent, but it is getting reduced itself. whereas hydrogen it accepting oxygen. So hydrogen gains oxygen, therefore it is getting oxidized, and therefore it is a good reducing agent, you can say here. um, Please understand the concept well before you write the answer. So over here copper oxide loses oxygen and get reduced to copper metal, while hydrogen gain oxygen and get oxidized to water. So here copper is getting reduced and hydrogen gains oxygen and get oxidized to water. Which of the statement about the reaction below are incorrect? You have to state which is incorrect. Where lead oxide combining with carbon gives you lead plus carbon dioxide. So over here you have to again relate to the oxidizing agent, reducing agent, substance oxidized, substance reduced. So the statement given over here, lead is getting reduced, carbon dioxide is getting oxidized, carbon is getting oxidized, lead oxide is getting reduced. So over here the options given over here, first one A and B, second one A and C, third one A, B and C, and fourth one all. So you have to relate to that and you try to answer this. Let us see the answer over here. Oxidation is a gain of oxygen and reduction reaction is loss of oxygen. In the above chemical equation, the incorrect statements are A, because lead is getting reduced. Over here let us see. Lead is getting reduced. So lead is getting reduced, and next point here, in the above chemical equation the incorrect statements are lead is getting reduced and carbon dioxide is getting oxidized. So one is incorrect. Do you agree with this? One is incorrect. Why? Lead is getting reduced and B, carbon is getting oxidized. So which of the statement about the reactions are incorrect? So you have to relate to that incorrect thing and then you can answer this question. So you have to find out incorrect here, which of the statement incorrect here. Can go through the answer again. Now iron oxide plus aluminium giving you aluminium oxide plus iron. The above reaction is an example of combination, double displacement, decomposition, displacement reaction. So Fe2O3 plus Al gives you Al2O3 plus Fe. So above reaction is an example of what you can relate to this. Combination, double displacement, decomposition, displacement reaction. So the given chemical equation is an example of displacement reaction, as aluminum is more reactive than Fe. It displaces Fe from Fe2O3 to form a new product, aluminium oxide. So you can see the reaction again. Here this is a displacement reaction, and here what is displaced? Aluminium is more reactive than Fe, therefore it displaces Fe from Fe2O3 to form a new product, aluminium oxide. What happened when dilute hydrochloric acid is added to iron filings? Now take the correct answer here. Hydrogen gas and iron chloride are produced. Chlorine gas and iron hydroxide are produced. No reaction takes place. Iron salt and water are produced. So what happened when hydrochloric acid is added to iron filing? We will see the answer. You have to take the right answer here. Hydrogen gas and iron chloride are produced. See the reaction. Fe plus HCl gives you FeCl2 plus hydrogen gas. The hydrogen gas formed, which is formed because it is a diatomic atom. It will exist naturally in its gaseous state. So it will exist in a diatomic form H2. So hydrogen gas is formed and iron chloride are produced. Should be the right answer. What is the balanced chemical equation? Why should chemical equation be balanced? So now over here, this is an assignment for the day to you children. You have sufficient time to complete your book. We will continue with the revision session for this chapter. You have to write the answer for this question. Thank you children. Please do write equations wherever possible, and please make a note in your book wherever it was mentioned. Thank you and have a great day.